There we go. And we are hot. Happy New Year. And markets are having a really nice bounce this morning. I mean, it's not terrific, but I mean, it's basically everything. We have crypto, which is bouncing. So Bitcoin's back up to 96. We have Ether is up about 3%. Bitcoin's up about 2%. Chainlink appears to be kind of the leader here. That one's up 4% today. And good old XRP with a really big bounce. Oh, right? Big deal. All right, so big bounce there. And it's across the board, so it's not like there's any one crypto. So again, so goes the markets. The markets go up, crypto goes up. The markets go down, crypto. So there is definitely a correlation that's built over the last couple of months or so. It's probably even longer than that. And I think it's more of risk on, right? It's risk on, risk off. And it's kind of weird, though, too, because not only are equities moving to the upside, and we have crypto moving to the upside, we also have bonds. Bonds are up 22 clicks as well, which has kind of been a little weird, right? We've been getting a big divergence there where stocks go up and bonds get, well, it's really been stocks do anything and bonds get murdered. But that seems to have changed. I don't know if we truly found a bottom. Perhaps we did. I hope so, because I'm heavily weighted in bonds, but that is kind of what's going on. And then on the news side, we'll just pop in here and just see what some of the talking heads are saying. And then there's more, I don't know what this is. Dollars post-election path is tracking Trump's first presidential term. Right. Sure it is. Okay. Great way to get a headline, right? Hive aims for 150% growth by 2025 following 47% operational surge in 2024. Nate Geraci, no idea who that is. I'm sure everybody in the crypto space knows. I have no idea who the hell he is. Crypto ETFs will dominate in 2025. Wow. Really? Man, way to go out on a limb there. I mean, really? This is actually interesting. Bitcoin loses 97% in volume from peak, but price is up. Interesting. So up on no volume. And so that's kind of the story in the crypto space. Let's move over into commodities and just kind of see, or, look at the ES and whatnot and see what's going on there. Dollar hits 2-year high. Volatility is off. As I said, bonds with a nice rally today. U.S. yields rise on last day. That's old. Why wouldn't that be updated? I know crude had a little bit of a bounce. I tried to get long crude last night, and I did. But I didn't really catch the move. I got in at 71.98 last night, and I don't know what it was. I think I messed up when I put my bracket order in, and I got popped out at like 72.05 or so. And I was like, what? I got like 5 or 6 ticks, and I'm like, what the frick is going on here? I couldn't figure it out. I was like, you know what? Maybe it's a blessing in disguise. And then I wake up this morning and we're at 72.78, and I was kind of pissed because I thought I had put in an order for crude I thought I put an order in for crude with like a 10 tick stop with no limit order on the upside. I was just going to kind of let it ride. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it as like a good night trade, kind of put it on, have a stop 10 ticks underneath where I went in, and then, hopefully wake up in the morning and have it be where it is. And I wish it was still on, because I would have been in nice shape. It would have been really nice to wake up today with a $700 or $800 gain. But no. So I just went to bed. I was like, you know what? I was aggravated, and I was like, whatever happened. And I probably screwed it up. I no doubt. But that's what's going on. Crude actually still getting a bid. And that is actually the news. Crude is up on hopes of recovery in China. That's what it is. Okay. I was wondering what it was, and I'm glad they cleared this up for me. So that is why crude is running, because it's on hopes of a recovery in China. Whatever. Who writes this stuff? I don't even know who writes this stuff and comes up with these narratives. It's kind of hilarious. Yeah, again, here's another one from Reuters. That's oil prices investors return at holidays as they eye China recovery. So that's what you're talking about. So that's what you went down on the floor and you went. There is no floor anyway, but you went and talked to crude traders, and they were like, "Oh, it's because we're back from the holidays and we're eyeing China." Come on, who makes up these narratives? It's literally comical. Anyway, that's what's going on in crude. As I said, we have all the markets up today. We got the Dow's up, starting out 274. The ES is up 46 handles. The NASDAQ 208, and the Russell is up 21. You got gold up, you got silver up. And that's pretty much the all the food groups there represented. I'm not going to talk about grains or whatnot. I don't think they don't open until 8 o'clock this morning. I think they're always weird. When there's a day off, they don't open that night. I don't know. Did they open last night? I don't even know. I should keep track. They may have. I do still think they're closed. I don't think they open. The grains are very weird when there's a day off. They usually don't open the next day in the Globex. That's just the way they are, generally. And we got natural gas is actually up a little bit, with a little bit of a recovery there. So that's kind of the story going on here. And then there's a bunch of other stuff that I see. I mean, no real headlines. From what I see, here's the big board and the big graph. We have Bitcoin making its way back. And probably the bigger one to talk about is XRP, only because there's so many jagoffs out there beating the table on this. And it was funny. I was actually talking last night. There was a little get-together family thing, and one of my family members I talked to about investing, and we were both laughing so hard. I mean, about the XRP and how these clowns kind of mimic all the GameStop people. And both of us were saying, yeah, okay, it's great. It's had a good run and all this other stuff, but it's like, we literally both rattled off at least 20 things each that all have done better in this over the last year than this slob. And why the focus on this? Again, it's one of those things where you got a group of influencers in this space, and again, they're all just a bunch of talking heads, talking their book. And it's kind of pathetic, and it kind of gives the whole space a bad name. And if you don't think it does, and if you're one of these jerk-offs out there beating the table on this every day and like, oh, breaking news, you're part of the problem. And you're the reason why guys like me who give stuff away for nothing and give away trading, which I believe is 35 years. Look, some of it's good, some of it's bad. I don't think it's all good. But my experience, and I give it away for free, you're giving it a bad name. And that's why I got the hell out of this and stopped doing it. Because it's just because of people like that. But it's comical to me now, but it's just funny. It's just funny how they mimic the GameStop folks. And look, it could go to $10, but you know what? How many stocks or other assets that are now at the same price and that will go up that much? There's probably thousands that will. So anyway, there you have it. Everything's kind of moving pretty well today. And then in the news, and we'll go through big tech because big tech kind of had a bit of a. And here's pre-market. Who's up the most pre-market? Obviously, MSTR. And we're looking at 1 hour charts here. So a little bit of up about 4% pre-market on MSTR. NVIDIA's up about 1.7%. Micron. This is an old graph that we can probably get rid of. This was our trade that we did. So we don't need that anymore because we're not in that anymore. Amazon, they're all up. Amazon, Datadog, CRM, all getting a bounce. Tesla's up about 1%. AMD. Meta, Microsoft, you name it. In fact, Apple had just gone red because Apple at the time when I started was the only one that was in the red, but now that is actually slowly, slightly in the green. Now, as far as news, NET, let's see what's going on with that. I don't know. That's hitting headlines. Let's see. NET is up pre-market analyst action, which is Cloudflare. I don't think I've traded this one. Let's get over to a 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart is always kind of the better picture for me to see what's going on. Looks like it's near highs. I haven't traded Cloudflare, so I guess something happened. Some analyst likely said something. Analyst. So that's moving. Cloudflare. I don't trade it. Let's flip on over to Cloudflare. No volatility. I don't believe it has no real liquidity at all. Look at the February options. Yeah, there's some open interest around the current price, and that's about it. This is a non-player. So no real volatility shake up there. We have this moving as well, which is Unity. This has been a mover at one time. If you go back to the daily, this was a mover. Yeah, this thing I remember being like $200 a share. It's now $25. Oofa, right? I mean, talk about right in the height of came out. When did this come out? Back in I don't even get the dinosaur there. It doesn't really say. But I remember this thing. I remember trading this thing during the pandemic and when lockdowns, and that thing was going nuts, and now it's just a piece of crap. All right, so let's see what happened with that. Extending pre-market gains up 14%. Let's see what's going on. I don't believe this one actually has much liquidity either. I think this one's pretty much been a dead stick. Yeah, it gets a 3-star. It's up about $3. Don't see any vol. There's really the IV rank in here is pretty bad. That's not great, and I don't think it's very liquid. I don't know. That's actually, there's some liquidity in here. I'm surprised that it's only showing that's a 3-star. And I'm a little surprised at that, honestly. And I've traded this before. I don't know if I've traded it profitable. That might be one to watch. I kind of like this. Kind of like what I see from a open interest point of view. I mean, there's some decent amount of, pretty strong interest at the 30 strike up there on the calls. Definitely some interest down on the put side, down in that 25 to 23 range. Somebody's stacked up about here on the 35s out in February. What do they know? Maybe it's some senator, right? That's probably what it is. Some senator knows something, right? Stacked up on the 35 calls. So I don't know. I'm going to put that one on the radar. I don't know if I'm really going to do anything. I'm not going to price any options out because, again, it's up $3. You'll probably get a little bit of pop in the volatility on this today because it's up $3. And I mean, if that volatility kind of morphs into something in the 40s or 50s, this could be a playa. I've traded it before. It's been a while. I'll tell you that. It has been a while, but we are going to make a note of that. And we's gonna get down on that. Right. And I'm gonna mark it down. Unity Software. And it may turn out to be nothing, really, right? It may turn out to be an absolute nothing burger. But I'm going to put it down only because I like what I see as far as liquidity. I like the fact that there's kind of, there's some speculation going on here as well. However, to be noted, there's no real skew either. One way or the other from what I see. Like here's the 20, it closed at 22. Here's the 22 strike. And if you see here, there's really not, it's 22.48. There's really not a lot of skew in here from what I see on the surface in February. So anyway, there's Unity Software. So we got that one on the list. Maybe do something today. But this one, again, this one was a playa, and now, and then they have earnings coming up on when? January 30th, Thursday, January 30th. It looks like this did kind of exhaust itself at around $28. I don't know what the news is on it. Let's see what the news is on it. Why the Russell came up, I have no idea. And this is not working. This is not work. Let's see. Let's hide that. We don't need to let everybody know what my account numbers are. Not that I really care, because some Asian kid probably has it anyway. Somebody in Slovakia, some 10-year-old. Unity Software stock rallying. Roaring kitty. Oh boy, it's a roaring kitty. Yep, roaring kitty. Keith Gill sparks speculation with Rick James. Yep. So it's a roaring kitty. So it's a pump going on. Let's see what the story is. Unity Software stock is rallying. Roaring kitty posted a meme. They may or may not be connected. Meme stock investing. Unity's rallied 7%. There's been no new fundamental news. Okay, so it's a pump. So that, I mean, again, that may be good for, I'm still going to take a look at it because, again, if the volatility kind of spikes a little bit and there's a little monkey business going on, maybe you step in and you sell some calls here. So anyway, just going to keep that one on the radar. On the radar. Yep, keep that one on the radar. And I don't know if they reported the news. No, nothing here on Tasty Trade. Which, nothing on Tasty. Let's see if... Right. So, just want to try and confirm the story. Roaring kitty. It's always fun. It really is. Let's see. Unity. Yeah, here's U.S. benchmark, blah, blah, blah. Unity Software rose 9% after investor Keith. Yeah, same story. Before the opening, that's all it is. All right, so that's that. I won't waste everybody's time. But hey, you know what? You never know. You never know. Bonds, I'm not going to talk about that. Bonds are moving to the upside. So... that's one for the good kids, if I were to say anything. And I mark this in here. We may have marked the bottom here, and I probably shouldn't have said that because now what's going to happen is we're going to double top in here and then they're going to crush these. But as you see, if you look at the chart, though, on bonds, we have a lot of space, man, to move. I mean, the next spot that I see of some real significance is going to be this point of control here, which is about 116.09. 116.09 is probably the next spot. It's got quite a bit of selling inventory to kind of churn through here, but that is kind of the next stop. And as you can see, there's a number. I don't know. I mean, it's got a long trek to go, but there's bonds. You already talked about crude. NIO and Li Chinese autos after monthly EV data. Or NIO. People are even still trading that. I don't even follow it anymore. I took it off my list. I don't even follow it. I don't even want to put it up because it's a piece of crap. They are garbage. Lee Motors. I ain't trading that trash. Then you have all the Bitcoin stocks. Bitcoin. I went over MSTR. You got Coinbase. Also on the move. Can't spell. Coinbase hasn't really been very tradable, only because there's no real volatility. Let's take a look at that real quick on Coin. Yeah, no real volatility of 14.1. Coinbase overall, though, is pretty liquid. only gets a 3-star. I thought it would be a little better than that, but I've always found it to be pretty liquid. I know the spreads are the spreads are not that tight, but it is a $200 stock. Now that's a real nothing burger. And that's really it. There's nothing else I see that's kind of in the wheelhouse. What is that one? NMRA. What is that all about? Neumora Therapeutics. Oh my God. Holy moly, that's getting destroyed. What happened with that? Neumora Therapeutics. Holy mackerel. Wow. Damn. Depression drug fails to meet main goal of late stage study. Wow, that is not good, man. Wow, some people just got wiped. You know what, though? I'll bet you Nancy Pelosi was short. She knew. But look at that volatility. Damn, that's a wipeout. I hate to see that, man. And that's that. That's it. That's all I got. I don't know. It kind of sucks, but that's how it boils today. We'll look at the Ivy ranks here in our list. Still got UAL up in the list, high volatility. Full disclosure, I'm still short that. X is showing up on here, and the problem with X is, as much as I want to trade it, there's too much risk in it that, and I think this is going to stay bid in volatility until Trump gets back in office and there's definitive direction as to what is exactly going on with it. He had said he's not going to approve the buyout by Nippon or whoever it is, the Japanese company. He already said he's not going to approve it. You still have 20 days. I don't think anyone else is going to step in at this point and change that. But I think that's what's made this a dead kind of stock, is because although it's remained bid volatility, you can't really trade it because you have all this headline risk involved with it. And so you're not really seeing this volatility collapse. So if you sell puts or you sell calls, they're really not deteriorating. I mean, directionally, yeah, if you want to play it, you could probably play it that way. But, as far as the way I would trade things, it's just not, even though it keeps showing up on the list, it's not very tradable, in my opinion. So, AT&T, we did do a put spread. Actually taking a little bit of loss on that, but I still think this one is a good one. I don't even go over that, but selling puts in here is actually still, I think, a good play. You got good volatility there. Tesla remains bid from a volatility point of view. It's had a pretty significant sell-off, at least from its highs. I'm not going to say, overall, it's had an incredible run these last month and a half, 2 months. So for the fact that it's been down, how many trading days? 1, 2, 3 in a row here. Perhaps it's due for a bounce. I don't know, but that remains bid in volatility. I don't really have anything going on in there, only because I think that's become more of a directional play, even though volatility has stayed bid. Palantir, I am sorry I didn't sell calls in here, but I'm glad I didn't, because although it has moved to the downside, volatility really hasn't come out of this. It's actually stayed bid in volatility. So it kind of confirms to me that it's not really the best of time to sell much of anything in here. I will tell you this. I am going to be a pretty strong buyer on this stock, even though I already am. But I'm going to be a strong buyer in this if it does get under 70. I do like it under 70. But I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. The airlines, there's another airline on the list, the volatility list. I'm short this as well. And volatility still remains bid. Merck, I'm actually surprised this one being on the list. This is normally a dead stick overall, even though I think it probably gets a decent, it's a 3-star. I've never really had much luck trading options in Merck, even though it's on the list. But nonetheless, let me take a look, because look, you know what, I'm looking for something. I don't really have much exposure to this space at all, the drug space. I mean, at least right now at my age, I had a lot of exposure to it when I was a kid. But right now I don't have much exposure to it. But anyway, but we have, good, strong volatility in here. And it looks as though that, a lot of these pharmaceutical stocks have been trading on their lows. I don't think margins are going to be very good. And you got earnings coming up. Yeah, margins suck. So you have to do something. So I'm actually looking at perhaps that's not too bad. And we got 50 days. I don't think you do a call spread in here because I think, again, be a little contrarian. These stocks have gotten beat up, and they have shown that there is a bit of a bottom here at 95. Again, I don't know. The bottom is where the bottom is. Trading at 99. It's up a couple of ticks today, almost $100. Kind of like that 90. Where am I? Kind of like that 95, 90. It's going to be much less today. Chances are it's only going to I'll probably just barely be able to get $1 for that. I am going to get it down on that one. I'm putting that one down, Merck. MRK. All right. All right. And so there's one for you. Nice, small, little trade. Not going to use much. You can do this trade anywhere you want. Does not matter. You can do it anywhere. IRA, it's risk defined. Put spread. You're selling a little volatility. You're getting about 13, 14 deltas. So you're getting a little positive delta there on Merck. And I like it. You're not going to get it for $1.09. Chances are you're going to probably get it closer to $1, is what I would say, pre-market, especially it's 8:30. Going down the list here, what else? Let's see, UNG, Tilray. Tilray's still been on it. That's a piece of junk. Netflix. Netflix is interesting to me here because, again, volatility has stayed bid. And although Netflix is saying that, is a positive experience with the football, I've heard more people complain about it than I have people, again, in my circles, I've had more people be like, Netflix sucks, they shouldn't be doing the games anymore. Mine was buffering and all this other stuff. And I get it, because I know when I watched the few minutes of the game that I did, it buffered a couple of times. And I don't usually have any problems when I stream anything else. I stream a lot of hockey, but I never have problems with ESPN's app and buffering. So just weird stuff. Netflix in here is a little interesting because I wouldn't really get on one side of this than the other. If you look at it, it's been kind of gangbusters. Does look like it may be kind of topping itself out. Let's just pop in over onto a let's pop in over to trading view charts and look at a 4-hour. And it does look like it is topping itself out here at the 900 level. Now, look, anything can happen. It's quite possible for whatever reason, but we'll stick that up there. And this should actually be a different color because it's fun. Let's face it, that it is kind of fun painting charts like a jerk off. But it just makes you feel better. But I do feel like it has maybe topped itself out. Now, I don't think you get any kind of epic collapse, but I do think you may get kind of what I would consider like a drawdown in it to about $800, maybe $760, because it has run. They do have earnings coming up in February with a BR, brewery. It's a brewery. Although I'm probably going to do an earnings trade, I kind of like the one standard deviation iron condor here. I think either side, you can either sell calls or sell puts. I don't think it matters. Whatever you want to do, you have to do something covered. Because look, I mean, if you don't. If you got the capital, that's fine, but $74,000. Now, I think in my margin account, it'll probably be much different than that. If I went, that's my IRA. But if I actually did it in an actual margin account with margin, it's still $7,000, which is absolutely insanity. And one standard deviation, again, the problem, we've been through this one before, I was talking about, is that there's no strikes out here still in February. And I'm surprised they haven't come out with any. Usually they add them, but they have not added any. And I believe January probably has them. Let's see, over 1,000? No, they haven't even added them in January. Well, they're 10 wide in January. So that is an overall and a definite problem in here, and it still remains to be a problem because I can't really do anything. So let's do this. In fact, I'm not going to see it as a problem. I would say, based on where things are, this 1020, 1040. I do have a problem using $1,700 to make $270 make $300, and chances are I'm not going to make that full profit, because then you never do. Like, always factor in, like, I've always tried to tell people too, look, when you're selling stuff, don't think that, I'm going to get max profit. Right away, 30% is all you're going to get out of that. Chances are, because between 30 and 40%, sometimes you'll get 50. It is like literally, like, the odds of you making that max profit is literally minuscule. The odds are like 1 in 10,000 or even probably higher than that. But the chances of you making, again, probability to make 50% is 89%, which is pretty good. So, because anyway, when I sell stuff, I'm normally looking to make about 30 to 40%, and then I'm gone. Once it hits once I'm up 30%, I am gone, usually, 9 times out of 10. Unless I'm so far in the money or so far out of the money where it just like almost looks impossible for it to expire, then maybe I'll hang on to it. But most of the time, I'm gone. But I like this trade. The only thing I don't like about it is I don't like this, and that bothers me. I do not want to use $1,700 of buying power. So anyway, Netflix, as far as I'm concerned, and I don't want to just sell. If I do anything in here, I want to do an iron condor. I want to be on both sides, and I can't do a like strangle or anything because it's just too much. It's too thick. So there you have Netflix. So it's kind of untradeable until they add some strikes up there. Because I don't want to be inside here, right? I don't want to be in here. Honestly, I really don't. I think if you're in here, you're going to get wrecked. Not that you're going to get wrecked, but I just think the propensity for Netflix to kind of blow out of this expected move, especially that they have earnings in February, I think is pretty likely. Out here, I feel a little more comfortable in my position. So, anyway, there's Netflix, and that kind of sucks because now you can't really do anything in it but really, in my opinion, sell puts. And I don't want to just sell puts. Going down a list, let's see. That's really it. I think it starts. Starbucks. Let's look at Starbucks. We talked about Starbucks last week. And now I know why we didn't talk about it too much. There's nothing to do in here. This is like, this is a tough stock. There's really not much to do in there. And then we start getting down into the area where I don't really believe you want to be on any side of anything. And then it brings me to last but not least, XLE. I think now is the time, and we're seeing it in crude, because they said we're waiting on the Chinese economy to recover, right? That's what the narrative said. But anyway, the XLE and the XOP I like long here. And the way I'm going to play it, and I've said it, is I'm going to continue to add on calendar spreads. And the calendar spreads I like are the March, Februaries. And that's how I'm going to play those. All right, and that's it. And market continues to look like it's going to open up strong. ES is up 47 handles now. The Dow is up 315. NASDAQ seems to be a little slow here. It's only up about 200, and the Russell up 19. All right, and that is kind of the story here on January the 2nd. Going to be looking at a couple of trades today on the ES. I kind of like, just to throw these out there, I've kind of liked 60.11 for a short today up there at R3. If you're watching your pivots, I do like that spot. So 60.11.50 right here on your fib pivots, 60.11.50. I do like that short. And I'll probably likely play it using the MES. That is just the one I like. Less leverage I have to worry about. And I usually do 3 to 5 contracts when I trade the MES, where I'll do 1 or 2 when I trade the big contract, but when I trade the MES, I'll do 3 to 5. I usually do about 3 most of the time. It's not a lot of leverage. It's only like $1,500. And then I think, day trading wise, if you use a futures broker, it's like 150 to, for 3 contracts. So that's what I'm looking at as far as like what I'm going to do today. So that's it. Fairly, I think, inside normal day today. I don't really see anything crazy. And we're going to give some of these stocks a look here. It's Unity Software was one. Merck on the open. We're going to look to maybe sell some puts there. And I'm not going to talk about natural gas. We all know natural gas is pretty much, at this point, seems to be stuck about where it was. It had its big blowout. It had a meltdown. And now it just seems to be stuck right where it is. All right. And so that's it. So have a good one. And I will be back